And many daughters are continuing to spend years and years chasing approval that feels like it's just getting farther and farther and farther away. And I know y'all are tired. Sis, I'm tired too. Okay. Now, the danger is not necessarily the expectations, right? The danger is when those expectations become your identity, when your worth becomes tied to achievement. I was just thinking about how, it just thinking about careers for many of us, like once the career shift happens or once the layoff happens, we just seem to lose ourselves. Like, who am I if I'm not working at so and so company anymore? Who am I if I'm not doing this anymore? And we lose sight of our core being because we have tied our identity so much to, oh, Susan the nurse, or Phoebe the doctor, or Aku the therapist. Welcome back to Between Two Worlds with Dr. Phoebe. Woo woo. Today we're doing something just a little different, and something different, something for the guests. I have prepared your annual Immigrant Daughter Performance Review, so please come in and have a seat. HR would like to have a word, okay? Now, if you're an immigrant daughter, you know that the performance review never ends, okay? The categories are endless. Career success. Are you successful enough? Marriage. Are you married yet? Children. When are you having them? More children. Oh, why is it that your son doesn't have a sibling yet? What's next? Home ownership. Do you have a home? Do you own a house? Uh, uh, Physical appearance. Have you gained some weight? Have you lost some weight? And why? Why are we losing weight? What is going on over here? Church attendance. Where have you been? Extended family involvement. Why don't we see more of you? Why aren't we seeing you these days? Now, no matter what you accomplish, there's always going to be another box for you to check. Okay, the finish line continues to move, and the goalpost is still relocating. Speaking of goalposts, right? Like, we're in the middle of this World Cup season at the time of this recording, and we're looking at goalposts and everything like that, right? And so when I was thinking about this episode, I thought about that, right? How the goalpost seems to like move. And many daughters are continuing to spend years and years chasing approval that feels like it's just getting farther and farther and farther away. And I know y'all are tired. Sis, I'm tired too. Okay. Now, the danger is not necessarily the expectations, right? The danger is when those expectations become your identity, when your worth becomes tied to achievement. I was just thinking about how, thinking about careers for many of us, like once the career shift happens or once the layoff happens, we just seem to lose ourselves. Like, who am I if I'm not working at so and so company anymore? Who am I if I'm not doing this anymore? And we lose sight of our core being because we have tied our identity so much to, oh, Susan the nurse, or Phoebe the doctor, or Aku the therapist, or, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it becomes so enmeshed and so tied together. And when success becomes the only evidence that you're enough, you're in trouble. You are in some big trouble. um and I'm thinking, as I'm saying this out loud, I'm thinking even about folks who have been in tech for the last few years and have faced all of these layoffs, and how it has hit folks really, really, really hard. And many high achieving immigrant daughters are secretly living with anxiety because we're trying to like maintain some sort of standard. And honestly, sometimes it feels impossible, right? It's not excellence. We're looking for perfection. And we forget that perfection is a moving target, because what might seem perfect 2 days ago is probably not going to be the same next week. I mean, think about some of the different products that we use, the different technology that we use. I know we're kind of going back to these cute little rotary phones and everything, and people think that it's all adorable. But I think about how we used to have those phones back in the day, and now it's more of a fashion piece, it's a statement piece, right? Because all of those things keep moving, and the standards are going to continue to shift. They're going to continue to move. And so if you've tied your identity to what you can produce and your productivity and who you are at work and all of that, I don't know, sis. I don't know that that's sustainable. Now, I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine waking up tomorrow and nobody was grading you. Nobody was evaluating your choices. Nobody was comparing you to anybody. You didn't have to think about who was doing what and who is wearing what. I want you to ask yourself, what would I do differently? What would you do differently? Would you take a different job? Would you date differently? Would you rest some more? Would you actually put rest on your calendar? Would you take the trips out of the group chat and actually make it happen? I'm seeing the girlies outside, now that the weather is warming up and I see all the travel photos. I'm like, yes, girls. Like, I love this for us, right? Would you travel more? Would you would you speak up some more? Now, whatever your answers are, that is going to tell you something very, 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 very important. You're going to learn something about yourself. This might be a time to start doing some journaling based on some of these answers that you have, right? And I even know for myself, like there's a lot of things that I would do differently if nobody was watching, if my parents weren't watching, if, you know, I wasn't worried about perceptions and things like that. Now, I will say in the last few years, I have made a lot of choices. I've made a lot of decisions very intentionally that I was terrified to make. But I think it came from asking myself some of these questions, right? If nobody was evaluating me or nobody was grading me or nobody was comparing me, what would I do? And I started actually doing those things. So when I give you these questions or I bring up these questions, I'm really not just pulling them from my behind. These are questions that I've had to ask myself, and I know that they have impacted me in very positive ways too, right? And I remember asking my mom some of these questions, like really hard questions. And when she gave me her answers, I was like, so why would I be stressing out about this if, you would have made such a different choice, right? If circumstances were different, you know what I'm saying? So here is a bridge the gap tip for you, okay? I want you to create two lists. I want you to create two lists. In fact, grab a piece of paper and a pen, okay? And on list one, I want you to write down a list of things that you're doing. Things I'm doing because I genuinely want them. Things that I'm doing because I actually want them, right? And on your second list, I want you to write things that I am doing because I'm afraid of disappointing people. Things that I'm doing because I am terrified or I'm scared of disappointing people. Now, to get a little personal with that, like if I were to answer these questions or create that list, I would say, things that I'm doing because I genuinely want to do them. This podcast, like doing this podcast, I genuinely want to do it. I love doing this. I'm loving the conversations that we're having. I'm loving the texts every week when folks are like, hey, this week's episode, spoke to me, or my friends would be like, you know what, next time just at me. I'm like, okay, you know what, I will at you next time. I will mention, I will name drop you if you want that, and things like that. What other things am I doing? Like I'm traveling a lot because I genuinely love to travel. I love being out. I love being outside. I love seeing new places, experiencing new things, eating new foods, trying new foods. Now, okay, well, maybe I'm not as adventurous when it comes to food like that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not as adventurous. But I love to experience different things and go different places and do different, like yeah, experience different things. Like last year I went snorkeling in the ocean. And I remember my mom being so terrified when I told her. She's like, "Hey, you are doing what in the ocean? You are doing what? Hey, Phoebe, you want to die?" She was like, "You're not scared?" I was like, "No, I'm not scared. Like, clearly I did it. I'm here. I'm in front of you now." Because here's the thing. You have to wait until you come back before you tell them some of these things. Because if you send those photos or you send the videos while you're on the trip, your mama gonna come drag your ass back, okay? She will drag you back to the airport like, "Let's go." So you wait. You wait. You get home and she's like, "Oh, you didn't send me any pictures." "Oh, I was so busy. I was having so much fun." "Okay, you want to see it then? Yeah, you can show that in." Because otherwise, you give her a little bit of a heart attack or something. You know what I'm saying? And on my list, too, things that I'm doing because I'm afraid of disappointing people. Oof. What are some things that I am doing because I am afraid of disappointing people? I'll have to sit with this. I wish I had like one off the top of my head to share. And if you had asked me this question years ago, I would have been able to come up with a quick answer. But right now, I don't see that, right? I don't really have a whole lot of things that I'm doing because I'm afraid of disappointing people. I've disappointed people a lot in the last few years, especially. I've really disappointed people and I've become okay with that. I've been fine. Like, people have been disappointed and life is moving on. The earth is still spinning. Like, life is lifing. I mean, what are y'all gonna do? You can't really do anything, but write that list. Put together your list and see what shows up, because that's going to be some really, really great information for you. So I want you to remember something. I want you to remember that you are more than your resume. You are more than your income. You're more than your LinkedIn profile, okay? You are more than your relationship status, married, divorced, whatever. You are more than your productivity. You are a person. You are not a report card. So, until next time, please take care of yourself, okay? Promise me?